up YouTube? My name is Lexi. Welcome to my channel. In today's video we're going to be reviewing The Ultimatum season 3 episodes 4 and 5, and it's only getting messier, so therefore I am still here to run my big mouth and give you my unsolicited 2 cents about what is going on with the going ons. But before I do, if you like my vibe, please subscribe. Now at this time, go get your snacks, go get your tea, go get whatever's going to make you comfortable while you're listening to me. I do plan to get the next there's 6, 7, and 8, so I'm gonna try to get those out so I can be fully up to speed by Wednesday so we can continue to talk. So please keep me in your prayers because this editing anyway. So without further ado, let's get right on into the mess. Episode 4. So we start off with Sandy and JR. Sandy is basically talking to JR and she's letting him know that she ran into Nick and she told him that they had kissed, and JR is looking at her just like, why the hell did you just do that? Like, JR pretty much is just like, he doesn't say it, but his attitude or like his tone is like body tenses up and he's kind of just like realizing like, oh, this might not be an opportunity to just have my way with no strings attached. And I'm just like, well, yeah, you know, like the fact that that is something that is going around, I think, and now he's starting to put it together like, oh, like certain things might get back and it's not really going to be something that you could just keep on the down low or just like hush hush between the two of them. So he's realizing that that is going to present a problem later on, possibly if like other people find out about it, particularly Zaina, and it's probably going to work, you know, introduce some issues into their relationship. Then we get the craziest scene of all time. 4 people have left the experience. That has never happened in Ultimatum history. So we get this scene in the middle of the night of Chanel, Dave, Vanessa, and Micah just packing up their bags and feverishly running the fuck out of the experience. And I'm just like, what? I'm just like, listen, Dave set that up. Dave set that up. That is all Dave's plan in motion because we already knew he was not liking this experience whatsoever. And I feel like because Dave is so like unsettled, he probably went to Vanessa about it, and Chanel was already like feeling like, you know what, maybe I just don't even need to be doing this. So then boom, they all just packed their bags and they left.
Christina's gone.
Nick was going around looking for Vanessa. He couldn't find her. And Mariah, she said that she was coming home from the mall and Micah was gone. She had asked the man about dish soap, about picking up the dish soap. That man left that message on scene, did not come back. Dish soap was not purchased. Nothing was gotten. He gave her a book even, and he even took the book. The girl couldn't even get her reading on.
She packed all her things and some of yours and left.
And the thing about it is just like, you know, they're all connected. So that was one thing that Sandy said, like they are all connected. And because one person leaves, 2 people leave, like it has like a ripple effect and people aren't getting the experience, or people are not having the growth or the progression that you would have hoped that they would have been able to achieve with somebody else. And the idea is not for you to like get with that person, but sometimes being with somebody else, it allows you, or it highlights your pitfalls and stuff. So if all of a sudden like Vanessa being with Nick, that could have introduced some level of like understanding of like his emotional like deficiencies, or it could have just pointed out certain areas where he could improve in his relationship, so that therefore when he got back with Sandy, Sandy would be like, oh, okay, I've noticed XYZ changes in you. That's just an example, but when you just leave the experience, then now we have 2 people, Mariah and Nick, who are just by themselves. So now they're just by themselves, and Nick is an emotional wreck, and Mariah, she just seems like somebody who's very like quiet, timid, shy to herself, and there's nobody there to kind of bring out what possibly like we possibly could have learned some amazing things about her, and now we no longer get that you know, that experience. Like all we get is just like her in her feelings, and now she has to therefore get stuck watching Caleb have this wonderful experience with Arya, and that's just so sad to watch. So Dave, I know that was the work of you raggedy bitch, and you are a terrible person. We go on a little date with Arya and Caleb, and they're just like sitting on a bench and they're just talking, and I really love them. Like I really love them. Their connection has just been so great. Like I can't even say that enough. Like it's just so cute to watch them. Their conversations, like they just flow so effortlessly. He's such a great listener. Like he just really provides a wonderful space for her to just be open. And it's a level of intimacy that you want in a partner. Like intimacy does not always mean physicality. Intimacy is just the intimacy of actually knowing somebody's heart, knowing the way that, you know, knowing the inner workings of a person is just as intimate as it comes. You know, like the inner workings, like what makes you tick, like why are you the way that you are, knowing like the little bits and pieces, knowing your scars and how that has affected you to become who you are. Like that is just so intimately beautiful, and I just love actually seeing this on screen, because I feel like we're in a day and age where like intimacy is not regarded as anything other than sex. So it's just wonderful to see. In this conversation, Arya actually explains that her parents were divorcing by the time she was going over to college, and they just kind of like dropped it on her out of nowhere. She explains that her parents had an open relationship, and she was, well, as she was growing up, she was seeing her dad with like other women, and that was also really crazy for her to like watch. So therefore, like that's why she and Caleb also agreed that they would never have like an open marriage. She expresses that she feels as if he's a safe space, and he's also talking back, and you kind of see that he's starting to like think about her a lot. Like he was saying that he went to the store, he grabbed teas, and he grabbed like multiple teas because he didn't know which one she wanted, and I was just like, that is
I'm all toasty inside.
it's just so cute. Like it's just so cute. Next we pan over to JR and Sandy. They're over here going on a bowling date, and she goes, you know, let's make a bet. And Sandy says, if I win, then you have to cook dinner. And him, of course, he's looking like he's so perplexed, just thinking about, you know, what would be the terms. He's just like, you know, if I win, you gotta go to sleep in one of my t-shirts, and that's it. And I'm just like, you guys already smashed. You guys already smashed. Y'all not about to convince me that they did not smash the first night. And on top of that, like after they make the bet about that, she's doing her bowling thing. Why is he over here spanking her? So they end up sitting down, and now they're having like a conversation. So now they're touching base, and Sandy, she's talking about things like sharing things. Like he's just saying that he's a very independent person, and she's a person who is very much so like she's very connected with her partner. She just feels like, oh, we're gonna share everything. If I order food, like I'm gonna have some of yours. And he's just like, no, like you go and you get your own. Like I don't want to, I'm not sharing with you. Like I'll buy you whatever you need to share, whatever you want, but like I'm not sharing with you. So that already is telling me that JR is a very selfish person. Like he is very much so like, I care about myself. Like what is he even like giving to Zaina at all? Like it just seems as if he's a person where he's going to put himself first. He's not really in a space of like sharing or connectivity and those things that actually is a huge component of a relationship. Like he's not really here for any of that. So Sandy's explaining to him like how important that part of the relationship is, and he's just sitting down there just like, yeah, I mean, that's so profound. I'm sure Zaina, in this real relationship, I'm sure she has had conversations with him just to explaining that she doesn't want that, like, and this is what she was saying before, like she just feels like, you know, they are on two different pages, like they don't do things together, like they're just not like, I'm just sure that she has had these conversations with him. And you know, to see him be so like, you know, Sandy's opening up my eyes to certain things, and I'm just like, is she really opening your eyes? Like, is this profound? Is this new information that you are just considering? Like, what was your marriage like? What was any previous relationship like? Like, anytime you're in a relationship with somebody, usually the idea of sharing with each other, like, it's a relationship is a reciprocal thing. Like, both of you are interconnected with each other, not like codependent, but interconnected with one another. So I don't see what kind of relationship he was ever having before in the past. Next we pan over to Zaina and Scotty. Zaina and Scotty, they're having a conversation about kids, and just like how they want their kids to be raised, yada yada yada. Zaina is saying that she wants to have kids, but she wants to have them under the right circumstances, right partner. Basically, she wants the kids to be like 100% set up. And Scotty is kind of on the, I want to have kids, but I don't want to be too old when I have the kids. And I'm just like, sir, once again, where are your materials? What are you working with? You got to have a J-O-B if you want to be with me. He's more so in a rush to just have kids because he wants to beat the clock and he doesn't want to be an old dad. He doesn't want certain things. But I'm just like, nobody, Kids are a huge responsibility. You just do not need to be in a rush to have kids if you are actually just not set up. So I don't see why he's not seeing it from that perspective. So he notices that she struggles with vulnerability, and she actually is open in this moment to let us know JR doesn't really give her space to be vulnerable. And I'm just like, that's exactly what he was saying on the date with Sandy. Just like, you are just such an independent person. Like, you're such an independent minded person. Like, it makes you selfish, and it basically seems as if you completely 100% disregard Zaina. Like, what is the point of being in a relationship if we're not going to actually work on togetherness, union? What is actually holding you people together? Scotty offers up, oh, like, I could be the one to help you with that. It's just like, sir, calm down. He's also just saying, like, you know, he has this connection with Arya, but he also finds that he has a connection with her. I'm like, pump the brakes. Like, she is not leaving here with you. Scotty's attitude at this moment is definitely on some, I'm leaving here with something.
I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Whether I'm leaving with Arya or I'm leaving with Zaina, I'm leaving here with something. That is the energy that Scotty is bringing to this conversation right now. So then we pan over to my favorite couple, Arya and Caleb. And Arya is explaining to Caleb that she feels that Scotty, she fears that she doesn't give Scotty enough validation. And Caleb shoots back and he says, well, why is that even your responsibility? Period. I'm not saying that there is no, you should always be acknowledging of your partner, always be gracious for your partner and whatnot. But it's just like, if your partner just constantly needs that, like, ego stroke, that constant boost, that constant, like, you know, that constant sense of dependency on you, like, that really takes away from the whole experience. Like, they are here on this earth to live their own life and go through their own journey. You carrying them along, like, it becomes less of a relationship and more of like a job or a task to kind of get them over the hump all the time. Nobody wants to be burdened like that. It just indicates that he's insecure. So a very insecure person is going to always need that ridiculous amount of validation to feel like they're doing the right thing. And you have to really be able to cultivate that by yourself. So he's using Arya to get that, which is also just making Arya, like, not... It's making, and because, like, he's probably having, like, a visceral or, like, a bad reaction to how she's coming off to him, like, it's just making him snap at her or flip on her. And I feel like that is probably, like, a constant thing in their relationship. Caleb also shares that right now he's in a place where he doesn't know what he brings to the relationship. He feels like Mariah would be able to just, like, find somebody else and just easily swap him out for somebody. So he's also on his own spiritual journey, trying to find out what he brings to the relationship, like what makes him a man of value. They have a conversation about, like, arguing, because of course that's what Arya's life is like with Scotty. So she asks him, like, are you somebody who needs the last word all the time? And he's like, no. Like, so he's very nonchalant, but the answer that he gives, it gives very much so, like, I said what I said. Like, I'm not about to go back and forth with you. And to a certain degree, that is okay, but in a relationship sometimes, like, conversations aren't as always, like, as easy as black and white or just like yes and no and just period. Like, sometimes you need to be able to dive in. It makes me curious, like, how he handles conflict, how he handles, like, conflict resolution. So Caleb also gets into a conversation about Mariah. He thinks that she is amazing. He thinks that the amount of love that she's able to foster and to give him, and to really, like, you know, she's just such a passionate person about him, and he's just like, I've never felt that way. And to a certain degree, like, he feels honored for that. But he also is acknowledging that he wants Mariah to focus that same energy and that same passion into other things. Like, doing other things is going to give him space to breathe, or it's going to give him time to really be able to process certain things. And she ultimately would just feel more fulfilled, and it'll alleviate pressure off of him. Sandy and JR, we pan over to them, and they're out here cooking dinner. So I guess he lost, rightfully so. Anyway, so they're making dinner, and allegedly they was making shrimp macaroni. I need to know, where are the ingredients? Why does the macaroni look white? Like, what is going on in this kitchen? They eat whatever dinner that was supposed to be. And he's saying that, oh, like, he enjoyed Sandy being there cooking dinner with him. And I was just like, the way that I'm sure Zaina would have appreciated cooking dinner with you. But okay, sure, whatever. This is monumental stuff. Anyway, they're having their dinner. They enter a conversation talking about kids. This man sat up on this TV screen and basically is saying that, you know, he wants to have 3 kids, and he's just like, you know, by 40. And I'm just like, to be a man, so blessed to just have kids at any old age that you want to have kids at, because his timeline is just so far away from where he is. That's why Zaina is over here being placed in a position where she's just like, I have to freeze my eggs. He is not really trying to do anything that is going to be taking him off of his own game plan. He just needs to let Zaina go. He needs to just be single, or he needs to just be, so basically like he's probably going to end up in life, he's probably going to end up with somebody that's like significantly younger than him. And we pan over to Scotty and Zaina the next day, and they're playing basketball. Long story short, Scotty sucks. He sucks. So now they're playing a game, and she says that, you know, if I make the basket, I'm going to ask, like, I can ask you whatever question I want to ask. So she asked him, like, you know, what would be something that you could go back if you have any regrets, like what's something that you would change, like in your life or whatever. And he pretty much gives this terrible story about how he got a ticket and his dad was basically trying to like discipline him, and he was very upset with his dad, so he went to the gym and he didn't call out to his father, and basically like I think the father had said that I love you, and he didn't say anything back to his father, and then the next day he died. That was devastating. I was like, oh, that is so terrible. Like, and I know the guilt from that is probably just weighing on him, or he thinks about it so often or frequently, so that would make any heart like super heavy. We get to the best scene of the episode. Caleb and Arya are having a self-care day, and it is just the get you a Caleb, okay? Get you a Caleb. He looks at her, and I'm just like, I'm sure he's picked up that she's a very like self-care kind of girl, so he gets this like, he sets up this amazing date just at home, doing full-on self-care. He's over here with the little like the hair pull back little bow thing. He's doing the face mask. He's doing the eye patches. It is so cute. It's just so cute. I love it so much. So they're in this moment and they're just being super vulnerable with each other. They're laughing, they're giggling. Like, he's basically just telling her, you know, like he appreciates the effort that she puts into this experience, and she is so appreciative that, you know, he was able to pick up on little things about her and he made like this amazing thing for her. She casts her aside and she's saying, like, you know, like, they started off as friends, but she's really starting to it's starting to progress into like something else, and I love that for them. At this point in time, Mariah, please, you are in the way of true love. Please let the two of these people just be in their relationship. Let them be together because they need each other at this point in time. We get to the most trifling scene of the entire episode. We get to the pool scene with Sandy and JR. At this point in time, these two are in the pool, and Sandy is talking to JR in regards to cheating. And she's just like, you know, like, is that a deal breaker, or is that something that you would like work through? And JR pretty much is just like, no, I'm not working through that. If you cheat on me, I'm taking you down to the courthouse, and like, that's that. And I agree with that. If you cheat, we are not working through it. We are not figuring things out. We are not going to get past it. If you cheat on me, I'm gone. So that is that. Especially if we're married, we took vows. Like, I'm not going to sit down here and be with you after you cheated on me. Period. Sandy's just like, well, I feel like as you're married, like, that's a permanent fixture and you're just supposed to kind of work through it. I ain't working through trauma. You go somewhere, you made that decision, go mind your business. JR is still just holding on to like what happened in his past marriage, because he feels like that just revealed that anything can happen, and it revealed a different side of people. And so Sandy has an aside, and she's basically just saying like, oh, I just wish that he would lose all of that, like release all that trauma, because like, I love him. And I was just like, she is so infatuated with this man. She talks about like cheating, and she says like, oh, like I was cheated on. He asked her like, you know, if she's ever been cheated on, and she's like, yeah, I was cheated on in like high school, my very first boyfriend ever. And she tells us that she, like, the guy cheated on her, and she was just like how he had broken up with his girlfriend for her. Didn't that what I said when I was reviewing episode 1? That she's one of those girls that gets off on like being able to take your man away from you or whatever. And then she was surprised when the man went and cheated on her. And I'm just like, girl, that's what you get. Like, that's the way of the world. If that person is going to cheat on their person with you, they will cheat on you. Doesn't matter if you're their girlfriend or not, they are going to cheat on you. So girl, you are just dumb for thinking that you were going to be above the law. So, you know, I don't feel bad for Sandy at all. He doesn't ask her anything else that's like deep or profound, nothing else trying to get into her head. At this point in time, he's just kind of being like, you know, it's back to the physicality. So now these guys are over here at this pool making out and talking about how much he misses, like why she's so far away. They get all super close and cuddly and stuff. And he's just like, you know, like we're in this experience. So basically with him, he's starting to like really lean into it and just like, you know, I want to have you in my space. I want to do all these things with you. Like I want you to just be close to me all the time. Like you just, you know, we drove separate cars here, but like, let's drive together. Let's do this together. Let's do that together. So she's just like, it's cute. I love that. Like, she basically is just like, yeah, like, let's lean into it. So they're over here having their moment. She gets out the pool and he's like, you know, you want to go back to the room? And I was just like, y'all in a hunch. Y'all are about to go get it in right now, and that's crazy. She's just like, yeah. So then she gets out of the pool and she just does this like little switch walk. Ladies, y'all know the walk. Y'all know the walk when you're trying to get them in. Y'all know the walk. So basically she pulled the walk and he's over here checking her out, and all of a sudden we pan back over to the room, and all of a sudden she's like laying on the bed, he's like standing somewhere, and you just see that door close. And that's where the episode ends. I know that they was doing the nasty, and I hate that. Anyway, that is the end of episode 4. Episode 5. So we pan over to JR and Sandy. JR asked her, what are your expectations around social media and your partner? So she's like, you know, good question. She says that, you know, if you're my husband, you're definitely posting me. He goes, I think that you know, my wife or whoever should post me, but I'm not posting them. If that is, I have never heard a more F-boy answer than that. So she's just like, that sounds stupid. Like, what is your reasoning for that? And he basically is going to this spiel of, you know, then other people were basically able to have access to your partner. That's what he kind of is alluding to. So then he further goes on and explains that he doesn't believe in like checking phones or, you know, trying to figure out what level of conversation the other person is having. And it's like, it sounds honorable, but I'm just like, coming from JR, like it just doesn't, it's just not hitting the same way. So it just gives, I'm an F-boy, I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing, I don't need you in my business, I'm not about to go through your stuff, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle. Like, that's what it gives to me, only because it's coming from JR. You know, like, I'm personally not a person who goes through my partner's phone or anything like that, but, you know, I personally don't do that. I feel like if I need to do that, then I just don't need to be with this person. That's me. But I just feel like coming from somebody like JR, like, he just does not give trustworthy to me. So I would just side eye and speculate anything that he's doing or saying in regards to phone usage. So he was also saying that, you know, his ex-wife was like beautiful, so he, you know, other people were in her DMs, and I think that he just thinks that that's why she ended up like cheating on him. And what I really need, I need the TikToks, I need the internet, I need all of these wonderful people to locate this man's ex-wife. At this point in time, we have heard so much about this ex-wife. I need her to come out and defend herself. I'm not saying that we really need that, but I'm very curious to understand or to know if she actually cheated on this man, or she actually put this man through the ringer. Like, what did this lady do? I need y'all to figure it out so that I could really understand and paint a full picture of JR and what his experience has been. We pan over to Zaina and Scotty. Scotty is meeting some of Zaina's friends, and he meets her sister. As he's there meeting her friends and her sister, he's already positioning himself as a victim. He says that Arya basically has had bad relationships with other men, and he feels as if he's in competition. Like, he's trying to basically like heal all the damage of her previous partners, and that's why the relationship is struggling. Just the victim mentality of this man. Zaina shares that she feels that with Scotty, she's been able to be more in her feelings and be more like emotionally vulnerable because he is creating the space for her to be so. And the thing about it is that Scotty is very dangerous.
You in danger, girl.
I've already called him a narcissist. Like, he's a very like covert narcissist. what it is that he's doing is that, like, he's learning her, and he's learning those vulnerabilities, and he's learning, like, all those little intricacies that make her who she is, because when he flips, he's going to use all of that against you. That's just what I think about Scotty. Scotty is a danger. Scotty, you need to, like, anybody in a relationship with Scotty needs help. Scotty needs to go see the lady, because Scotty is not okay. Scotty is a master manipulator. Scotty is somebody who you just do not need to have. He does not need to have any access to your inner thoughts, because he is going to just take it and run wild. Essentially, Scotty is learning his prey. Zayn's sister asked her, you know, you're in this experience, but like, I love JR. So like, if he was to propose to you, like, what would you say? And she pretty much is just like, I think if he were to ask me, I would say no. And that's a bit alarming, because she came in being so definitive on JR. But basically she's saying that, like, you know, in this experience, she might end up leaving with somebody else who knew. And Scotty's over here just like, yeah. And I'm just like, Scotty, shut up. Nobody wants you. Anyway, she kind of is just like, you know, I might even leave here by myself. So she's just kind of coming to grips about, like, what the reality of the situation is. And she's having a different outlook on her views on marriage and what it is that she finds to be important, and she's realizing that that the things that are important to her, JR is not matching up to that. Then we get another super cute scene from Caleb and Arya. Mariah, please go home and just leave. We don't, I'm sorry, girl. Like, you brought your man here, but we are more interested in these two and their connection, okay? But anyway, we get this another second, like, super cute scene between the two of them. And they are around a little fire, and they're playing this game, Chubby Bunny. So they're taking marshmallows and just, like, stuffing it into their mouth and just saying, like, Chubby Bunny every time until your mouth is just so full of marshmallows. It is so freaking cute. And what I love about this is that Caleb is somebody who, like, is so secure in, like, his masculinity or whatever. Like, sometimes you, as a girl, like, you might want to have, like, these silly moments with your partner. Sometimes your partner might just be like, that's dumb. And he didn't do that. Like, he didn't say like that was dumb, or he didn't say whatever. Like, he just leaned into it. He was just like, you know what, sure, like, let's have fun, let's do this or whatever. And it's just so, like, the fact that he's able to create such a space for her to be that open, that silly, that, like, free, and to know that he's not gonna just leave her in the dust from doing that, it just makes Caleb just warms my heart. So I love watching them and how they interact together. After they finish playing Chubby Bunny, he actually tells her, you know, like, I missed you, like, we didn't spend enough time together today. And I was just like, they're just so cute. So he was saying, like, you know, I didn't spend enough time with you, like, he actually missed her, and, like, you know, the feeling is mutual between the both of them. So she is also asking him, like, you know, like, are you affectionate? And he's like, yeah, like, he might just come up, if they're staying online, he might, like, you know, come and hug you, or, like, he'll, like, move your hair away from your face if it's in your eye or something like that. Like, it's just really sweet stuff. And that's something that she struggles with. She struggles with physical touch. So he created space again for her to try to experiment with that. So now they're looking at each other and they're just holding hands. So they're holding hands and they're practicing, and she's looking at him and he's looking at her, and, like, he just starts to, like, massage her hands with, like, his thumbs. It's just the most beautiful, intimate moment, and it's so, I just love that for her. Like, she's actually getting to explore intimacy with somebody where she doesn't feel forced to perform intimacy. Like, it's just genuine, it's just natural, it's easy, it's just flowing from her. And that's the way that it should be. That's the way it always should feel when you're with your person. So I just love that for them. So next we pan over to Sandy and JR. And please forgive me for this, but Sandy is taking JR to meet her family. So her mom and her sister and all of them, they're all, like, gawking over JR. And to me, I'm very sorry, but it very much so gave how much is this Negro. It just rubbed me the wrong way as a woman of color. It just gave me the ick. So I'm very sorry. It gave how much is this Negro. But anyway, once we move over the trauma of that, they're having a conversation with JR, and the way that the conversation is being structured is just like, you know, JR has things that's going for him. He's like an entrepreneur with fitness, etc., etc., and they all are impressed with that. But they kind of have like a contrast between Nick and there. She's saying that, you know, like Sandy, she just seems to be more like in herself or whatever. And like with Nick, basically these people are at this table having a roast session of Nick. They are saying that Nick is not stable. Nick basically needs to do some work on himself. They are tired of watching Sandy pretty much be the person who is carrying the whole relationship or carrying the burden of everything, or Sandy having to be the person to pick up the pieces with Nick all the time. They feel like he's exhausting Sandy. So I'm just like, pretty much all we learn at this sit down is that they hate Nick and they also don't want him to be part of their family. They think that Sandy could do a hell of a lot better than Nick, and that is the most important part that we get from this sit down. So then we pan over to Nick, and child, Nick is out here sliding down the walls and spiraling because he found out that JR met Sandy's mom. So this man is over here just like frantically freaking out. He doesn't feel secure in his relationship, and now all of these like insecurities and all these like complexes that he's having is starting to come up. So he's calling Sandy, and Sandy's just like, you know, she picks up and she talks, and then he's over here just like starting to kind of do that whole like sulking thing, and my girl hangs up on him, period. You go handle yourself. So, you know, he's just like, you know, why are you mad at me? And she's just like, I'm in this experience, like I love you, but I'm trying to just like learn the things that I need to learn. Nick is not having it. Nick leaves that apartment, and I don't know if he was going door to door or if he was over here stalking them in the bushes trying to find out where that apartment is, but these people, that man went right up to their apartment, okay? And he's out there banging on the door, begging Sandy to come outside and come speak to him. Basically, he's giving very Dave energy. It's giving very, you know, we're getting out of here. Like, I can't take this. I can't take you introducing new men over to your mom and stuff like that. Like, you know, he's just not having it. So then JR is just like, get out or get away from our apartment. Like, leaves. You know, he's telling him that he needs to leave. Da, 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 da. So then JR gets in the side, and JR is just like, you know, I'm not about to just have this guy come and demand to talk to my wife. I'm just like, JR, that's not your wife. Like, that's not even your girl. Like, what are you doing? That's her actual man. Like, what are you saying right now? So I don't know. Basically, JR is getting full on in defense mode. He's just like, you're not about to come over here and break up what we got going on. And right, I mean, I do feel as if Nick definitely crossed the boundary line, but at the same time, that's her man. So at this point in time, like Sandy, she just feels super violated. And actually, like at this point in time, Sandy, she's like laughing. She comes out the room and she's laughing because she's just in utter shock, I suppose, with the fact that Nick is doing all this. She's just like, you know, we're not doing this. And she basically sent him packing to go back to his side of the town. So basically, like, she and JR, they go back into the room. And she's telling him just like, you know, I just blocked him. And all of a sudden we just see that door close. For a fact, he had his way with her like no other. Okay. Them people, he was just like, yeah, you don't like me? Look what I'm about to do to your girl now. Like, I'm sure them people was hunching more intensely than they had ever hunched before, okay, right after that. And then we pan over to Nick. Nick is doing the slide on the wall. Like, remember Marissa from Love is Blind? That slide on the wall, that like fire passion cry like you really be feeling when you are in love with somebody, they tear up your heart. That is what we are hearing from Nick. And this is my thing, it's just like, if you can't handle certain dynamics or certain things, like, you never should sign up for this experience. I don't know what he thought was going to happen, especially because I think she alludes that they were not in like the greatest place when they signed up for this experience. So if you're already not on the greatest of terms, and then you're here and you're starting to become so like super affectionate, like, that is going to throw anybody off. So it's a lot of things that he's realizing, a lot of things that is coming up for him, and this is definitely not the opportune time to be feeling all those things while your woman is with somebody else, and somebody else like JR. Like I said, like, JR has a lot of like great points to him or whatever, and she already is clearly proving that like this person is somebody who she could actually see herself in a full-on relationship with. Like, that would mess with anybody, but the way that he is handling it, absolutely tragic. We go over to Aria and Caleb. They're still being cute. Aria basically is praying for Scotty to be just like Caleb. And you know, at this point in time, everybody needs a Caleb. So, boom, that's it. That's all I got for that section. So now we move over to Zaina and Scotty. This Scotty is asking her, you know, hey, do you want to do like a hot air balloon, or do you want to go for like cryotherapy? Those things, like, show of hands, who is excited about either of those options? I didn't think so. That is not exciting at all for a date. There's so many things that we could possibly do together. Like, it doesn't have to be this. So basically, like, because she rejects these ideas, he takes it as personal rejection. She basically is trying to affirm, she's just like, you know, I appreciate the effort that it took for you to come up with this plan, but it's just not something that I find interesting. So he goes, oh, what does 32-year-old fun look like? Ooh. You know, as a kid, like, he got a lot of validation, and I'm just like, you see, because you had so much validation, like, as you're getting older and you don't feel that kind of validation anymore, like, now you're becoming super insecure. So now he's just so over the whole cryotherapy issue. So now he tries to change the subject to her eating, and he was just like, did you eat without me? And she's just like, yeah. And then that sends him off again into a whole nother whirlwind, and she's just like, I've never seen this side of you. And I'm just like, you see, that's what I'm talking about. Because y'all were not even having like the right amount of conversation, and because all Scotty keeps on saying this whole time is, I gave the ultimatum, I gave the ultimatum, and she's not asking any proper questions. Like, Zaina has an issue with not actually understanding or getting the vital facts from somebody. Like, if you are in a trial marriage, it's not just that person inflating your ego so much. You need to ask the right questions to figure out if this is even the right person. Because had you had certain conversations with this man, had you had like more like thought-provoking conversations, you would have realized that there were some serious red flags. Like, had you even gone back to the first night where he had that whole blow up with Arya, you would have realized that this person is volatile and this person has a couple of screws that are loose. You don't need to be in a situation with this person. But no, like, he was able to just inflate her so much. But like I said, I think like because she's in such a like defeated position from JR, like, I understand that. She's in such a defeated position with somebody like JR that hurts. I think like her ability or her own like sense of self and worth, etc., etc., like all those things are trivial for her. So I think that because they're already in a trivial space, that's why Scotty was able to like easily come and commandeer her. So after that, we are getting ready for girls' night and guys' night. Alright, so this is now all the ladies are going to meet up, all the men are going to meet up, and they're all going to kind of just start talking about their experiences, just to get to the meat and potatoes of the episode. The girls are getting together. Mariah pretty much goes and tells Sandy, like, I just don't think you need to be marrying that man. And Caleb and Arya had a conversation prior to, and Caleb's kind of was just like, you know, I wouldn't really mention the whole emotional connection that they're developing to Mariah. I think it's because like he knows that that's not going to go over too well for her. And in my mind, I think that it's because he's trying to kind of do a little bit of damage control, and he's also just like, you know, I know my person and I'm not really trying to set her off. And I think maybe that's why he doesn't want to let her know. But Arya is just like, you know, she's gonna watch it back, she's gonna see what's going on, and I don't want to have her be blindsided. So she's going with the honesty policy, and she actually tells her, she's just like, you know, like, there is an emotional connection that is there, and Mariah does get worried about that. So anyway, we pan over to Sandy and Zaina. Sandy is terrible. Sandy is going over to that lady and it's just like, you know, I am working on him and we're not hooking up. And I'm just like, Sandy, who are you talking to? We have seen the footage. This lady is going to see the footage back. You are definitely smashing this man. So she basically is just like, you know, I'm not trying to do any of that. Like, I'm trying to make him better for you. I'm trying to make him better so that he shows up better for you, girl. I think that Zaina kind of gave her a look that was just like, why are you even giving me this information? So I feel like, and I hope that she's able to peep already that some BS is going on in their apartment. And she's about to have some issues when they have the switchover. I'm hoping that is the bells that say, that is the alarm bells that's going off in her head right now about Sandy being so forthright and righteous about what's going on in her connection with JR. So anyway, down to the boys' night. Nick goes over to JR, and Nick first and foremost goes and apologizes for intruding onto their apartment. JR pretty much is just saying, you know, I lost all respect for you in that moment. Like, it's okay, but I just lost respect for you, blah, 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 blah. Just kind of beating on him, and more so reiterating again, like, they're having more conversations about the fact that, you know, like there's a real connection between him and Sandy, and talking about like this, the experience that he's having with Sandy, just like really hunkering down on like what's going on between him and Sandy, when this man is already in a very low, defeated place. He's not feeling the most confident about his relationship or anything that's going on. He's not feeling the most confident being in compared to you, and this is just making JR, like, it's inflating JR's ego or sense of self. Like, JR is one of those people, he's a bully a little bit or whatever. Just like if he finds that you are threatened by him, he's going to keep poking at that bear. JR asked Caleb, because he's seen him and Arya around, and he's asking her like, are you developing feelings or anything like that? Caleb says no, it's just like a respectful relationship. Scotty's just like, listen, there is no heterosexual man who's around Arya and they're only friends, and period, because Arya is that girl. Sorry to say, unfortunately, there really is only an emotional connection, because them two need to be together. But unfortunately, Scotty, he is not lying. He's not going after your girl. He's not going to pursue her romantically, unfortunately for all of us. And then we get back to JR. JR is just like, you know, I heard some stuff about what you've been saying out here. So basically, allegedly, JR has it in his head that Scotty's been telling other people that he's only here for a hall pass. And he's getting all like defensive, and he's like feeling some type of way about those rumors. And Scotty's trying to figure out where he even heard that rumor from. Yada, yada, yada. And we basically end off the episode at a scene where they're all like up in arms about certain things, but it goes back again with JR bringing up Sandy, and Nick asked him, wait, does that mean that you're sleeping together? And JR is over here acting dense. Oh, I mean, like, yeah, we're sleeping in the same bed, like, isn't everybody? And Caleb is just like, that's not what he means. Ooh. So that's episodes 4 and 5. Drop down in the comments. Let me know all of your thoughts. I want to know what you think about all the madness that is going on this season. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.
You